Well, good evening, Wrestle Buddies. Give me another grape. Oh,
Hey,
how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Tired like always, but one of these days we gotta do a recording at like 10 a.m.
Yeah, that'd be nice, but you're a busy man and so hard to get a hold of. So I work on your schedule.
with it.
But both of us had a bout of the schedules this past week. You with your boys' trip on going kayaking. Kayaking. How did that go?
It was a lot of fun. It was a very eclectic group of people and culturally enlightening. I don't want to give away all the secrets. I showed up. There was a Bloody Mary bar set up first thing in the morning with pickled okra, smoked jalapenos, crumbled bacon, Tito's, like five different kinds of Bloody Mary mix. I mean, it was, and then the consensus was we'll partake there and get the kayaks loaded up and begin on this 8 mile hike down the Winoochee River. That was just Friday. There was a 10 mile hike on Saturday.
Say that 5 times fast.
Right. No, it was a lot of fun.
Good.
Um, the culture, like the dynamic of what was going on, only kind of compare it to that it was like the second or third movie after Titanic that DiCaprio made, called The Beach, where he wound up on that island somewhere out off the coast of Thailand, and yeah. Yeah, dude. These people are just they were wonderful people, and they were Joe Schmoes just like you and me. But everyone gathered, and the man trip. It was all dudes, and they were just out there with their campers to have a good time. There were superfluous amounts of spirits and alcohol consumed, but the goal was not necessarily just to get as trashed as possible. It was kind of the pursuit of pleasure and leisure and to just relax and fellowship. It was really nice. Phones were frowned upon unless they were the phone controlling the Bluetooth speaker that was playing the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s country music or the Americana stuff. It was nice. It was just, or reggae, whatever your preference. No one's gonna play whatever you want. If it's not well received, you'll hear about it. Uh, the food was good. Our boy Pat Baruti saw to that. He was invited last year, last minute, so he didn't have time to prepare, and I think he felt some type of way about it because Pat is a notoriously good host. I think he also prides himself on being a good guest, and he showed up. I think he was the star of the show, if you will, for that trip. That guy's truck was loaded down with smoker grill coolers that were just big coolers that were packed to the brim with proteins and vegetables, accoutrement, accessories, everything. And when it came time to cook, that was your boy. That was the one who was getting after it, and he really showed out.
Great. Well, I'm glad you had a good time. I'm a little
Yeah,
jelly.
yeah, it was fun. We'll talk more about it all for sure.
I camped as well, but it was with uh, a bunch of 12-year-old boys because it was a chaperone trip for my son's school. So it was still fun. Saw some owls. Uh, Went out there on an owl prowl and listened to the recording of the owl prowl for like 15 minutes. And as I heard it, it started to sound like a rap bar or a rap chorus in my head, like, I'm big time, I'm for real, I'm big time, I'm for real. And I'm just like, when's this beat gonna drop? And then we had two owls going hooting back and forth, and one of them sounded like a freaking chimpanzee. It was crazy. But we went canoeing, so we were out on the water as well. They were dewatering the lake because they're gonna do um, some maintenance on the man-made dams out there.
Nice.
Water was super low, so to get our canoe in, we had to trek through some bear hunt type squelchy scorchy mud, and my shoe came off, and I had to go elbow deep to get it out of the mud. So that was
Nice.
fun, but it was cool. Like, and then all the boys in the cabin, they say bro all the time. Like, hey bro, what's going on, bro? Hey, blah blah blah, bro, blah blah blah, blah, bro. So from then on, after that first night, anytime I was talking to him, I'd be like, hey brother, what are we gonna do today, brother? What's going on, brother? And they're like, they gave me
Nice.
this weird look, and then they started ending it with brother rather than bro. So it was fun. We had a good time, and it was cool to see my son in his element with other kids, because I don't get to see him interact with other kids, too often, because he's either out playing with them outside or he's at school with them. So it was cool just to see his dynamic, and he's a cool kid. He's well liked and he's nice. So that was good. So it was a good few days. But with that, we kind of missed some recordings there. But we did both watch last week's SmackDown, and we both watched the most recent Raw. And I will say that both of them were good, and Raw continues. Raw's been better, I would say, and I don't think you and I would argue over that. But they've both been good.
They have it.
So what we're going to do today is we're going to go over the Backlash card, and we're going to talk about the lead up of each match and some things that happened on both Raw and SmackDown with the lead up. And we're going to start. I have the WWE website up about the card, and I'm going to go from bottom to top. And we're going to start with the Gunther versus Pat McAfee match,
Hmm.
which I'm pretty stoked about. Another good promo by Pat McAfee, tying in dreams and what you strive to be, what you strive to do, being there in Omaha, Nebraska, talking about the College World Series. Like, that dude can tell a tale.
Yeah. And they were leaning on the Nebraska head coach and his two studs out in the stands. And I wrote it down that during the pod, I needed to Google their strength of schedule, especially on the back half of the season, because Pat referenced it twice on the show. So I'll pull that here in a minute. But because eventually we're going to get into some college football, we're going to have to talk about Florida State's going to go undefeated.
I think Pat, I mean, I have a soft spot for Nebraska because I was born there. I'm not a Nebraska fan. It was the first college football game that I ever went to. I think I was like 3 or 4, and I just remember a ton of tiny red ants running around on Lincoln Memorial Field. Pat's full of shit if he thinks the Cornhuskers are going to be anything competing with the Big Ten championship next year. I'm sorry. As long as you're in a conference with Ohio State and Michigan and Penn State, who's probably the favorite next year in the Big Ten. I know I'm jumping ahead to college football. I just wanted to say
No, I was
Pat McAfee are full of shit if you think Nebraska is going to compete. I do like Dylan Raiola, their quarterback, but oh no.
I do have a favorite quote of the night, and it came from Pat McAfee. If you want to take a swing, go ahead, because I'm going to hit you with it.
I think I know what it is, but I can't remember what it was. I just remember laughing.
Yeah, when he was talking about Nebraska and the steak,
Yeah,
go ahead, hit me
nobody
up.
beats their meat, or what? Nobody beats our
Nobody
meat. No,
beats this town's meat.
yeah, because the Omaha Steaks. Yeah, good job, Pat McAfee. But yeah, I mean, and Gunther gave him the opportunity to speak once more, and Pat talked about how you have this tendency to overlook people you think you could just walk all over. You did it with Sami Zayn, you did it with Jey Uso, and I don't know how much of a good strategy that was for Pat McAfee to say the thing out loud. Um, But Gunther is like, well, you have my full and undivided attention, and I'm going to beat the hell out of you. And I think that's going to happen.
As good as Pat McAfee was, I thought Gunther was just as good. He played beautifully.
Yeah, so one thing I wanted to mention since I have WWE.com up, one of the things at the end of their little spiel as it goes through um, talking about the match and how the lead up, it says the only thing that makes sense with this impromptu match at a PLE is somebody coming to the rescue of McAfee getting put to sleep, but who? Jey Uso, Michael Cole, Goldberg, Corey Graves. So this is WWE.com.
Yeah.
Rumors that Goldberg's last match is going to be at SummerSlam, and the rumor is that it's going to be against Gunther. And Goldberg has been on the Pat McAfee show recently. Do I want to see Goldberg?
No,
Not really, but do I
it
want to
was
see
cringe.
Goldberg get the shit slapped out of him? Gunther, kind of. Because most guys that have their last match go out on their back, right?
Will Goldberg do that?
I think you have to. You can't have Gunther lose to Goldberg. Like, what are you doing to him at that point? Anyway, we don't need to speculate about who's going to interfere. I have Gunther winning this match. I don't think it's going to be easy. I think Gunther will control most of the match, as he should. He's going to beat the ever living hell out of Pat McAfee's chest. And like I said a couple of weeks ago, I want to see Pat McAfee's chest on Monday on a show. I want to see the hamburger meat. But I think we're going to see some cool stuff from Pat McAfee. I think we're going to see that vertical jump up to the top rope.
Right.
And I think we're going to see some athletic prowess from Pat McAfee as he's shown prior. Yeah, but I have Gunther ultimately winning, probably by tap out or pass out from sleeper hold.
And then he goes nuts after it, and that's when Goldberg's music hits.
Or yeah, like he wins and then he goes over to Michael Cole. You know, he goes over to Michael Cole, and then that's when, if we do see anybody come out, that'll be when it happens. I don't think they'll interfere on Pat's behalf to win. It'll happen after the match, after Gunther's like, "Do you see what I've done to your boy here?" Like,
Right.
so. What do you got? Who do you got winning?
I like the take. I think Gunther's going to win. I just don't know how or the shenanigans. And honestly, the way you sold it, I don't have anything better than that. I wasn't thinking Goldberg. I was thinking, uh, like,
Well, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Play it out if it's Corey Graves that gets involved.
no, I wasn't thinking Corey Graves. I was thinking like an Obafemi or just something a little bit more out of left.
I'm giving you the platform now to use your imagination and play out a scenario of how Corey Graves would get involved and how it would play out.
Well, if Corey Graves came out, it would be because his colleague was being attacked, and that would be to reintroduce him because we haven't seen him anywhere but on NXT or
Right, and
what.
he was pretty. And do we know if it was a work or a shoot? Whether he was upset about being pulled? Like,
Right.
would he come out to defend Pat, or would he come out to make sure Pat lost so he could get his job back? You know.
I think the Goldberg thing is a little more likely, but I like the storytelling if Corey Graves did come out and where they could go with it. But ultimately, I think the Corey Graves thing would be a better story. I would enjoy that more. But if you're if Goldberg's got to have his last match this year, and rumors are that it's going to be against Gunther potentially at SummerSlam, that's what's going to sell tickets, not something
And
big
it's
to hype.
plenty of time for a build to then.
Yeah.
Because I assume it wouldn't be an every week build. I'm pretty sure Gunther's probably going to get some time off between now that he's not world champion. I'm sure he's not going to be an every week guy.
Yeah, for sure. Until McAfee cut that bitchin' promo, I thought Gunther attacking him and Michael Cole was the write off, the indefinite suspension,
Yeah.
and then Pat McAfee went bonkers. I was like, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, Gunther. Remember, I think he confronted Goldberg when Goldberg was down on the side, and then when Bret Hart came, what was it,
Mm-hmm.
late last year or whatever, he came out and he told Bret Hart that Bill Goldberg was his favorite wrestler.
Love that. Yeah, I remember.
That'd be funny if it does end up happening, Gunther and Goldberg, and then Gunther beats him with a sharpshooter.
uh,
I would love it. I would love it. And he just does like a CM Punk style homage to Bret Hart matches where he goes to the second turnbuckle and does the elbow drop like this, and the Bret Hart elbow drop. Does some Russian leg sweeps, you know, collides into the turnbuckle chest first like Bret Hart used to.
the next time Gunther wins a title, he needs to like drape the straps over his left shoulder and let it hang down, kind of sashay to his right midsection, and he can just call it his douche satchel. Just walk around.
All right, moving on.
Yeah.
Next, we got the Women's Intercontinental Championship match, which that Lyra has been but both of them have been putting in work promo wise. But Lyra, I did not know this was in her bag, but it is definitely in her bag. What do you got to say about Lyra and her bag when it comes to the mic skills?
Yeah, nobody did. Nobody did. They've been, you read articles, you listen to podcasts. Nobody knew this was coming, or nobody knew that she had it in her, and it's just fantastic to see because she's tuning Becky Lynch's ass up on the regular the last 2 weeks, and it's great.
I, I mean, we've talked about it before. I do think Lyra's better in the ring. She is because she's just more athletic.
Well, she's coming into her own, kind of like Io. Io is building steam just like Lyra is. It's on a different level, but yeah, I agree. Lyra's better in the ring, but they're pushing the mic skills, and she's not failing. She's not fucking anything up.
No, and the crux of this is that we want to build this Intercontinental Championship as a legitimate championship. Now we have this mid card title for the WWE women to go towards, to venture towards, and to be that workhorse title. Who better than Lyra Valkyria to hold it because of how she can go in the ring? But also, she's the only one that's had it. Is there something to be said about Becky Lynch being who she is, Sports Illustrated's greatest to ever do it, as it comes to women in wrestling? Is there some legitimacy on putting that title on a heel Becky Lynch to take it to possibly further heights than Lyra can do? But then you also have maybe Lyra just beating who Becky Lynch is can do that. And who's to say that this is a one-off? You never know. Either one of these women can win, and I can see them going against each other at the next PLE or the Monday Night Raw after.
Yeah, I don't think, and you referenced kind of what Becky referenced on Monday Night Raw. You know, the Sports Illustrated stuff, and then Lyra referenced the fact that she was the only women's intercontinental champion ever, and then they kind of played back and forth on that,
Oh, doesn't it last?
right?
So I'm gonna.
And interference, real quick, and interference from Bailey or a call out from Bailey's coming.
Well, yeah, because Becky's been talking mad shit about Bailey, not just on Raw, but on the interviews that she's been doing outside of WWE. Like,
My hope is that Lyra retains, and once the Becky Bailey kicks off, that looks to me that looks like a SummerSlam build, and you just got to get to the halfway mark with Becky Lyra, or something like that. But as long as Lyra retains or ultimately retains, if she lost this weekend, but can get it back and get a big time feud going with somebody for SummerSlam, and Lyra is defending that because what did she do at WrestleMania?
Who, Lyra?
Yeah,
She won the women's tag team championships with Becky Lynch.
okay, she didn't defend her Intercontinental title. I'm with you though. I'm with you. She had a spot, but I'd like to see her defend that title at SummerSlam, and I like Becky and Bailey to have this blood feud shenanigans thing, the Naomi Jade stuff, but different, similar but different, and let Lyra get into some real shit with somebody else.
What about this? Let me throw this at you.
Yeah,
What if Becky Lynch is bullshitting us? What if she just told us that she took out Becky or Bailey? What if this has been the plan all along for Bailey and Becky to stunt the growth of the up and coming women? And we do see Bailey come out and she just beats the shit out of Lyra, rolls her back in the ring, and Becky wins.
and this is how you get Charlotte with her as a face, and she comes out and says,
What if they get Charlotte along and we got three of the four horsewomen, because they're like these up and coming women, because they've been bringing up Roxanne Perez, Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, and then Bailey, Becky, and Charlotte are like, this is bullshit. We're not ready to leave this perch. Who are these bitches coming after us? That's what they say. I would never call them that. But I don't know. It just popped into my head. What if she's just bullshitting? Yeah, I attacked Bailey. Fuck her.
and then they join the Seth Rollins Ron Paul faction, and they're unstoppable.
Short, dangerous four horsewomen alliance. Anyway, that's some crazy fantasy booking. I have Lyra winning this, um, and I think it's going to be a freaking banger of a match. I think this is going to be match of the night, between these two women. While I know that it seems like I'm shitting on Becky when I say Lyra is definitely better in the ring, that don't mean I don't think Becky can't go. She can go. Like, she gets good matches out of almost everybody she goes against. And I think this is going to be another one on that, for Becky Lynch. But I think Lyra retains.
And
And it's not the last match. But
when you click the refresh button on Becky's mic skills and what she's been spitting the last couple of weeks, I'm with you. Um, she's dank on that mic the last couple of weeks. I'm like, Jesus, you're spitting better than you wrestle right now, and you wrestle really good, but she was just nasty on that, just nasty, nasty. Um,
so what's your pick?
Lyra, I've got Lyra, but I don't know if it's Lyra clean. I don't know how that finish is going to be, but I've got Lyra ultimately retaining.
Okay. Next, we got our Fatal Four Way United States Championship match. The title holder, Jacob Fatu, taking on LA Knight, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre was not in attendance at SmackDown last week. And this match, he won the number one contendership for that U.S. championship, but all of a sudden it's a four-way. So Drew is not going to be happy about this. And I think this might be how we get Nick Aldis involved in the ring finally, because there's been a common theme lately on it's either yes, okay, Damien, you want to blame Damian Priest for all of these things happen, and he did a great job of, puzzle piecing all of that together. But now, just because I'm gone means you get to take away my number one contendership and turn it into a free giveaway amongst three other people. Like, no, dude. So I think I can't wait to hear what Drew McIntyre says tomorrow night to Nick Aldis about making this a fatal four way because
Do you think that they're just continuously teasing the Nick Aldis thing, or is it? Do you think eventually it'll really happen?
I definitely think it'll eventually happen. He was when he got hired, he was legitimately injured because he was wearing that sling there for a while.
Okay.
He either tore a pec or did something to his shoulder. I don't know, but I mean, if you tear a pec, if you're not John Cena, it's like a 9 month injury. John Cena
It was for him.
5 months. No, he was back by Royal Rumble because he came back in Madison Square Garden, and it was like a 4 or 5 months out. So. And Cody was only out. Shoot, he was back at Royal Rumble, and he got hurt at Hell in the Cell in October. So if you're not John Cena or Cody Rhodes, it's usually a 9 month injury. But I'm pretty sure he's healthy now. I think what they're doing is I think you're right. I think they're teasing. We thought it might be Randy Orton and Nick Aldis when Kevin Owens had to go get surgery on his neck, and we're like, man, could this be Nick Aldis' spot? Um, And now I think we're gonna see a tease tomorrow with Drew McIntyre being like, how he's like, why couldn't I have just fought you for the number one contendership? Can you not do that anymore? Like, so talking a lot about Drew. Ultimately, I think Jacob Fatu is gonna win this. I don't think they're prepared to take that title off of him. Hold on, I accidentally unplugged my headphones. I don't think they're prepared to take that title off of Jacob Fatu because it's a way for him to have these matches and getting him on the card.
Correct.
And it's a way to get wins over people like I don't think Drew McIntyre takes the pin. I think LA Knight does. Um and I think that's a way for them to keep a possible Fatu McIntyre match out there, a Fatu Priest singles match out there because we've seen Fatu and LA Knight at WrestleMania. So I think LA Knight's going to take this pin. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think there's going to be a lot of cool spots. It's a fatal four way, so there's no disqualification. So we could see tables, we could see chairs involved. We can see, there's no countouts. We might see this go out up into the near the nosebleeds where me and my kids are. Maybe I get a little
Right.
action out there, and I can say yeah every time LA Knight hits someone, or my daughter can show her sign that says Drew's blood on it. So. I think ultimately Jacob Fatu gets this win, and I think LA Knight's going to take the pin.
Do you think there's going to be any solo shenanigans, Tongans?
Well, yeah, I mean it's only solo because Tama, both Tonga brothers are out now with injuries. Yeah, I think Solo probably comes out. What he does is he going to do something, and Jacob's like, "What the hell are you doing? Like, get out of here!"
Right.
I don't know because they've been kind of teasing that
Right.
Solo's flying too close to the sun when it comes to making decisions for Jacob Fatu. I mean, I think he'll get involved, but maybe he's the first one to go through a table.
Mm.
Yeah. So who you got? What do you got on this?
Man, you're calling it similar, and I'm trying to like audible, but
Well, make cases like make a case for Damian Priest or Drew McIntyre or LA Knight winning. Like I know you think Fatu's going to win, but so who's your number two that you could see winning?
Damian Priest or Drew McIntyre, which is why I think he's probably most likely to take the pin. Um, Damian Priest took the pin at WrestleMania. I don't see him. I don't really see him winning this match, but I definitely don't think he takes the pin. They want to keep building him. Um, Drew's just too dank, too nasty.
He's almost untouchable now. Like,
Right.
I'm waiting for the cacophony of the fans to be like, okay, we have loved and appreciated everything that Drew has done all the way through the CM Punk feud. And then, coming into the new year in WrestleMania, like he's made everything work that has been thrown his way. When is that like pulse? Because they they cheer Drew now. Like he's a heel, but he's not a heel that they're booing. Like he may say something about the city or the town that he's in, but they like this truth teller Drew. He's over like
Drew maximizes his booking, but he doesn't get like the sexiest booking. He makes his booking sexy, but he just doesn't get these the best the best.
he ran the pandemic era of wrestling, without the fans and and I think what they're doing is that they're building him in a different way. Like he has the legitimacy of being a former champion and our appreciation for being that during
For sure.
during the pandemic. But now they want to build him in a different way, kind of like to bubble and boil until the fans are just like, fuck, give us Drew as the champion. Like something.
Yeah, and I wasn't hating on the company. There's there's a lot of cream rising to the top, especially the last couple of years, and what Reigns, Punk, Rollins, Cena. Those are the four, and Drew's right there. But
Cody.
excuse me, Cody as well. So, um,
I mean, now they've got legitimate guy. They've got so many guys that you're not surprised about who should be the top guy. I mean, we just named five. You could add probably Jacob Fatu to that now. Braun Breaker's on his way. Gunther, Jey Uso. Like I think they're building towards a Sami Zayn possible
mhm.
Money in the Bank. I'm starting to feel like Sami Zayn is my pick to win Money in the Bank this year, based upon the interactions that he's had with Seth Rollins and his crew. Um, I mean, Sami Zayn's yelled it from the mountaintops, and sometimes WWE tells you what's going to happen. Sami Zayn
That's
screamed, "I will be a world champion."
I think he's going to win the Rumble next year. I think that the early tease.
We'll see. So we both got Jacob Fatu. So far we're picking all the same peeps, but that's okay. Intercontinental Championship match on the men's side, we have the champion Dom Mysterio versus Penta. Definitely think there's going to be some shenanigans involved in this. Definitely, definitely, definitely. uh, but I don't think it's just from the Judgment Day side. I think we may get a little sprinkling of some Lucha Bros in there with Ray Phoenix, possibly, if Penta's the number game is not in his favor, which means we see some Legado del Fantasma because Santos Escobar has been having some beef with Ray Phoenix lately, and Andrade has been sprinkling in some mind games with Humberto back there. So yes, Triple H is sprinkling all the Latin American wrestlers into one storyline, but it is a storyline and it's a good one, not a great one, but I think the match is going to be a great one. I think we're going to see some growing up in the ring with Dominic Mysterio.
We're going to need to because Penta's going to bring it.
Oh yeah, and who better? Who better to to have a dance partner with as a I don't know future world champion Dominic Mysterio maybe one day.
I think instead of, oh, who do you think is going to win? And then we comment on it on three.
1, 2, 3. Dominic
Penta.
Mysterio. Really?
That's what I'm talking about.
Go ahead. Tell me why.
I think Finn Balor cost Dominic the match. I think it's the push that Penta needs, and I don't know how long he'll hold the title, but I think the the already pre-laid storyline is with the Judgment Day, and I'm not going to go the implosion which started at SummerSlam last year. I think the Judgment Day is going to continue to be around until it fizzles, but the the stuff with Finn in the match at WrestleMania, and then on the weekly stuff following, where he's just been left out of the loop, and then on Raw when I forget what Tom asked him, he was like, will you take care of it?" I got it written down.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, he's like, can't you take care of what was it?
I'm looking.
Yeah, he's like, can't you take care of something for me?
So I got to do all your dirty work now. I'm just kidding, bro. I got you.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta take care of all your dirty work now? I'm just kidding, buddy. Like, yeah, I mean
It's
they've been teasing it.
I think that's coming. And you put the championship on Penta. It's a good look, and neither storyline suffers. They both continue to evolve. I got Penta.
Um, if I were to pick Penta, where I see it going afterwards is Pierce on Monday makes a number one contender match between Dom and Finn wins,
Hmm.
just to elongate that storyline
For sure.
of the fissure. I'm gonna take Dom, but I'm gonna take Dom winning because Finn tries to interfere, and it looks like he's interfering on Penta's behalf, and he messes up, and it actually helps Dominic Mysterio out. I think somehow we're gonna get some weird shenanigans with that. I just think it's too early to take that title off of Dominic Mysterio. I want to see because they still have been keeping him away from live crowds, like promo wise. Like he'll come out there to help, like with the JD McDonough match while it's going on, but they've been keeping him away from live crowds where they can just react to him, like on the mic, because he's gonna get cheered. He's gonna get cheered. They
Right.
like Dom as Intercontinental Champion, and they're not ready to release him into the wild just yet. I can't wait to hear his music on when at Backlash in St. Louis because I'm going to be cheering. My kids are going to be booing, but I'm going to be cheering. And I think the majority of that St. Louis crowd is going to be cheering for Dominic Mysterio. I really do, and that's not to say that they're not going to cheer for Penta. I just think they're both going to get cheered. So.
I've got to take off of yours.
Mm-hmm.
I like yours, and I just kind of fantasy booked it all the way out to, I would assume, SummerSlam, because what happened last year at SummerSlam with Dom, he turned on Rhea,
Yeah,
he walked
sided with
Liv.
Liv. Yep.
Liv's gone right now. She's shooting a movie, right?
She's done shooting a movie. She should be back on Monday.
I thought she was going to be gone for a while.
No, she was just gone for a week.
Bro, I wanted it to happen so bad. I was going to fantasy book it so that they do this build for Dom and Finn all the way to SummerSlam, and then at SummerSlam, Liv turns on Dom and he loses the title to Finn, and she walks with Finn.
That still could happen
Yeah,
because they were teasing that with the room key card and stuff, and Finn was the one that took it and slid it in his pocket. Like that still could happen, but we'll see.
for
All
sure.
right, last match. No correction. Oh yeah, it is the last one. Undisputed WWE Championship. John Cena, the champion, versus Randy Orton. Um, John Cena was not at SmackDown last week. Randy was. Cut a very good promo. He talked about he's going to punt his head, and he's a legend killer, and you're the legend in front of me, basically. So this will be fun to see the dynamics shift between who's heel, who's face in this scenario. St. Louis, I mean, they're going to go freaking bananas for Randy Orton, hometown. Uh, I don't think he wins. And I've already told you, I think I've said it a couple of times. I think this match plays out exactly as it did in 2008 between these two, except in reverse roles, where Randy Orton was the champion going against John Cena, and John Cena almost got counted out, snuck back in the ring at the 9. Randy Orton slaps the ref in the face, and the ref calls for the bell for a disqualification. Randy Orton retains. I think that's what we get on Backlash is John Cena. Maybe he AAs Randy Orton through a table. Randy Orton gets back in at 9. John Cena is flummoxed. He's perplexed. He's frustrated. He's angry. He's violently in rage. And he turns and looks at who's the, let's say Little Nate is the referee, Charles Robinson. And he just slaps him in the face. Ding, 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 ding. John Cena retains, ruins wrestling in St. Louis for Randy Orton.
Yeah, it's so poetically correct and on time with the storyline. I don't have a better booking for you than that. I hope it doesn't go that way. I think we're gonna get a better match than the main event at WrestleMania.
I hope so.
Yeah, these I think John Cena and Randy are gonna vibe and jive, and I think.
Well, they're good about telling the story between the moves, you know.
Should be a lot of fun. It should be more fun than WrestleMania. And again, I can't book it better than you did. I think John Cena retains. I don't know if he wins, but I don't think we see The Rock. I don't think we see Travis Scott. I think your booking was perfect, or something like it. There's going to be some kind of shenanigans. It certainly doesn't give me the feel like we need a clean finish unless Randy's going to win. I just don't see that happening. I don't know where you go from there.
The card is, I mean, I am very excited about this card. Like going into it, I mean, I knew I was going to Backlash right when I saw that St. Louis was going to host it. But at the same time, Backlash has given us some really good matches the last couple of years. We had it a couple of years ago in Puerto Rico. We had a killer Damian Priest and Bad Bunny match in the San Jose street fight. It was freaking awesome. Greatest entrance I've ever seen, ever, with Bad Bunny with the one shot of the drone coming in. And then we had Zelina Vega versus Rhea Ripley, which was a great match. We had Io versus Bianca, and the crowd was fully behind Io during that match. And then I think that year was Brock Lesnar versus Cody Rhodes as well. And then last year we had the Lyon France crowd who were just on fire the whole event. Cheer AJ Styles, Cody Rhodes. I'm not sure what the chant was. It kind of sounded like he is so phenomenal. He is so phenomenal. It's probably not what it was. It was probably something in French, but that's what it sounded like to me. I mean, the crowd was just lit. And I think that's the first time we got the Yeet Skeetos, the
Right.
in the crowd for Jey Uso when he came out. So Backlash has been really good the last couple of years, and I think that's because of the quality of the matches that they have put on the card, and I think while some of them are kind of weird on how they got there. Not weird in a bad way, but like Gunther and Pat McAfee, I never would have expected that we were going to see this on a PLE that's just after WrestleMania, you know? So I think we're going to have a lot of fun with these matches. Like it's going to be a lot of fun. Do you think we see another match announced tomorrow night on SmackDown for Saturday's Backlash?
I think one or two.
I was thinking a Tiffany Stratton, Nia Jax, possible, or a tag match, Tiffy and Jade versus Nia and Naomi.
Correct.
Um, I really thought we were going to see Rhea Io versus Julia and Roxanne Perez, but Rio was gone this week in Perth promoting the PLE that's going to be in Australia. So we're
Right.
probably going to hold off on that, maybe just for a Raw after Backlash. But I I would like to see like the Street Profits had that banger of a match for their tag titles, and a part of me is like, okay, what's next for them? But and then on the other side of me is like, well, they did just have a TLC match. That's a pretty gruesome match. If you were to think of this outside of the kayfabery of it all, and like if it was an actual like boxing or UFC, they normally get a good amount of time to recuperate before they do their next bout. So if you have a TLC match, it would make sense for them to get like, a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, a month break because for all those guys, because it's a brutal freaking match.
For
And it's
sure.
not just them, it's all the guys that were involved in that match that have not wrestled since then, at least on TV. I can't say anything for the dark matches, I don't know.
Agreed. Do you think the card is lit because at some point during the PLA we're going to get a ladies and gentlemen?
Yeah, let's talk about that. I was not expecting them to jump straight into this new faction coming face to face with Jey Uso for that world championship. Um, and I didn't really like the way that they have the camera on Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins in the back. And I love it when a plan comes to fruition. Like he took it hook, line, and sinker. Like I, I thought we were getting Logan Paul Jey Uso.
Yeah.
That's not on the card. That's not on the WWE thing. What happened?
Not yet.
Not yet. What they both said
No.
that they were going to go against each other at the next PLE at Backlash 2 weeks ago, but now we're not.
Well, it's not announced yet.
They announced it 2 weeks ago.
Just that would be kind of the reason for my question. Do you think we're going to get that or something like it, or are we going to? Is Paul Heyman going to show up? Is something going to happen?
Well, I mean, him showing up would do what? Jey Uso's not on the card, so what is he going to do? Like, is he going to call out Jey Uso and then we get an impromptu 3-on-3?
Well, there wasn't a title match on the card last night or the other night.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the Jews and the
Oh
title.
yeah, right. But Jey Uso was already out there. Like, there would be no reason for Jey Uso to be out there. Like, do we get like maybe we get a new member type thing? Like, okay, like, hey, Jay, CM Punk, Sammy, you three versus us two, and then we get a maybe Logan. If Logan Paul's the third guy, it wouldn't make much sense. I would hope that like Logan Paul would come out and be like, "Yeah, I'm your third member," and Braun just fucking spears him in half. Like, no, we don't want you. Like,
That's not the direction they're going. They would love him. They would welcome him.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think you have to get CM Punk, Heyman, Rollins, Jey Uso out there because they are faces, the big time faces of the storylines that are going on. Um, I don't know.
What? So my next question: what's going to happen? Real quick, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Uh, how are the kids going to respond when Jey Uso's music hits? Do they know? They know what to do. Fucking
Yeet. Yeah, they know how to eat.
yes.
I mean, they know when to say yeah when it comes to LA Knight. They know when to yeet. They know. I mean, they know it all. They're ready. They're prepared. Um, we're excited. We got some signs. I'll share some photos of them. Um, and yeah, we're just stoked. It's gonna be a good time. And then Mother's Day is the next day.
And then we're all
Yeah. I'm excited. Should be fun. SmackDown tomorrow should be fun. A little build. Probably see another match. Maybe they usually only go 5 matches for these type of PLEs, but I wouldn't mind them adding another match because I'll be there and I would love that. So yeah, I can't wait to give you my experience here in St. Louis when it comes to WWE Backlash on May 10th. You got anything before we go?
No, you heard it here, Jenny. Oh boy, and the kids are going to Backlash. I want to hear about it after that. I'm gonna watch. I'll be there, but not near there.
Yeah, you're gonna have to tell me if you can see us.
Well, we'll be in comms. I will. You'll know for sure.
All right, Wrestle Buddy. So we'll see you probably. Well, maybe we should. I don't want to do. I don't think we should record on Mother's Day, unless I got Lindsay a massage, but I couldn't get it for the day of Mother's Day. But maybe I can just say, hey, go do something and keep the kids here with me.
No, brother, I'm gonna follow your lead on this one, and you tell me what you want to do, and I'll be ready to rock and roll. Would not pass the advice that we should record on Mother's Day, but if you want to, we can.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll send the kids over there, like to the skate park for a bit, and Lindsay can take a nap, and then we can record during that time.
Honestly, we may be off on Monday. There's a 4-day coming up, whether it's this weekend
That's
or
Memorial
next.
Day weekend. That's in a couple weeks.
Okay. Well,
All right, Wrestle Buddy. We'll see everybody when that time comes. I love you and I miss you.
love and miss you too. Go Knowles.
Oh yeah, give me another great